Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome back to SNL's AfterBuzz show. We have host Julia Louis-Dreyfus and musical guest Nick Jonas. We're going to talk a lot about it, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey AfterBuzzers, we're back.
You're too sexy, beautiful, and everybody wants that taste. That's why. Why is it that you're so jealous?
I don't know. I still get jealous.
People are always like looking at you, and I have to be like, well, I mean, other people have eyes, and I can't just hug Kelly all to myself.
Well, thank you.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah, I think that all the time.
You know what? I don't like the way he's looking at you, though. Anyway, we could go into this hardcore
Oh, couldn't we?
Nick Jonas song. It's great. It's great, but...
We're Nick Jonas fans, obviously.
Yeah. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about SNL. Hey, AfterBuzzers, I'm Kelly McInerney. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. Kim and Amy are not here, but hey, Katie is!
I'm here. I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me on all the social media things at Katie Wilbert. You'd think by now that would be a smoother delivery, but every time it's got a little sprinkle of awkward sauce.
You know what? We'll get there.
Thanks.
We'll get there. But before we get into the episode, might as well just talk about this super quick.
I would really like to. Please
Okay.
tell me what's going on this side of the table.
We've got a really cool I got a super cool show I want to tell you guys about. Tuesday,
My
April
favorite
19th,
night.
on the CW. It's coming,
What is?
and there's no cure.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the greatest enemy comes from within. From co-creator of The Vampire Diaries, Julie Plec.
Oh.
Yeah, she's cool, right? She's a cool girl.
Yeah.
Comes the Emmy Award-winning director of Game of Thrones.
Oh, well, there's a big deal,
What?
huh?
Yeah, comes the riveting outbreak thriller Containment.
Oh, snap. It's a disease. Okay.
When a mysterious and deadly epidemic breaks out in Atlanta, always Atlanta.
It's always there. Why? Poor Atlanta. You need to move, y'all.
A massive urban quarantine is quickly enforced. Loved ones will be torn apart. We could be torn apart.
We could be no more singing jealous together.
Yeah. And those on both sides of the fence will be put to the ultimate test of survival. Not just fighting the disease, not just that, but fear, isolation, and the unknown.
Loneliness is the worst feeling.
Yeah. But this virus, is it an act of Mother Nature, terrorism, or something far more sinister?
Oh, God, what could be more sinister?
The truth will not be contained. Get it? Because it's called containment.
That was nice.
Secrets begin to unravel. Society begins to crumble. But unlikely heroes will rise. Ordinary people will defy the most extraordinary odds. Don't miss the most utterly terrifying.
I do feel scared. Yeah.
Yet highly anticipated new series, Containment. The must-see limited series event premieres Tuesday, April 19th. That's soon. It's 2 days from now. Catch it. Only on the CW. C-dubs. Thanks.
I feel like that was a really animated delivery.
Thank you.
I also want to let you know that I would like to see the show now.
You're welcome.
So that's what that did for me. And I'll be watching Containment on April 19th, Tuesday, CW.
What time is it at, though? It doesn't
It didn't tell us, but you know what? I bet if you just tune in all night to CW, you'll
sit
find
there
it.
and wait.
Start from 7 and work your way down.
All right.
Yeah.
What if it's at 6, though? We're going to miss it.
Most
No.
shows aren't, though, because like people are still from, getting
You're
home
right.
from work, and they got to give moms time home to cook. I'm speaking in backwards languages today. Also, dads cook. I'm not trying to be like misogynistic over here or backwards misogyny. I don't know.
But you know what? You're right. We'll watch that.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
Okay.
Anyways, speaking of checking out, did you check out SNL? Yeah, you did.
I did. I came prepared to talk about it. And I was really excited that this week was Julia Louis-Dreyfus because she's dope as hell.
She was great. And Nick Jonas, who...
Hi.
So great.
He's just the most attractive I like his voice. I like his songs. I like what he sings about. He makes me feel like a special woman that he's dating. At least that's what I imagine when I'm home alone.
I just imagine it all. Every time I hear the song, I'll just be like, just imagine our life together. His big arms.
Stare off to
his big arms just like hug it. You look at those arms.
Oh yeah. He's a sir who works out, I think. Or he just lifts lumber all day. Just all day Nick Jonas is lifting lumber. Yeah. That's, again, how I think of him when I'm home alone.
That's great. I'm just thinking about it now. No, just kidding. But before we get into him, let's get into the show.
Yes.
Cold Open started with another the Democratic debate.
Oh, yes.
It was really, I liked the switch up with this because it had Larry David as the guest as Bernie. Big surprise, you know. But I liked how they incorporated Elaine from Seinfeld.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
And they brought in Rachel from Friends. Which
almost Cliff Huxtable.
Yep, almost Cliff Huxtable. And before that was another allusion to the 90s with the Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
Yes.
Which was great. So I really liked all those 90s callbacks. I was actually surprised that Wolf Blitzer wasn't played by John Rudnitsky. Isn't he usually?
I thought he was, too.
Yeah, maybe. So that was a little surprising to me, that they made that change for Beck to do it instead. I didn't mind it, but I guess I feel like John gets so few opportunities to do stuff as it is that I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Yeah. He probably was not happy that they took that away from him.
It's a bummer. He's still new, though, so maybe
he's still new. There's time for you yet, John. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it was like the most poignant, hilarious cold open I had ever seen, but I also didn't mind it. There were some. I loved I always talk like I'm on the other side of the river.
Yeah, I like that
from
one.
Bernie Sanders, because I felt like it was really true. Yeah, and I liked the guests I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I think it just kind of got a little bit too silly at the end. How she's like, "You're bald," you know? How that was the one hit. I was like, really? I feel like you could have done a lot more with that.
Yeah.
But other than that, she still looks the same.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Good for her. But it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. I feel like that's a great statement for this show.
Yes.
This episode specifically.
I do think that would be an appropriate umbrella statement for the overall show. It was a...
I mean, you can't go much worse than last episode, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So. I've talked to quite a few people who watched it who said the exact same thing as us, which made me feel like, A, less of a dick, and B, a little like everyone's wondering what happened and what's...
I looked into it. Well, I asked my one friend who works, like, she knows people that worked with Russell Crowe, and he's a known asshole.
Oh.
So I think that's why he just maybe just ruffled a few feathers.
Well, I definitely think this episode had way more energy than last episode, and I did watch at the very end to see what the hugs were like, to see if they compared differently to last week's, and I feel like everyone seemed to be
friendly,
vibing a bit more, so that's just something interesting, I guess.
Yeah. And the monologue. It was her third time hosting.
Yeah.
She's been on SNL before for, I think it was just a season she was on in the 80s.
It was during the time when Lauren wasn't producing
Dick Ebersol.
the show.
And it was the weird one where it had Martin Short, I think Joan Cusack, Robert Downey Jr. I think it was like all like stars.
Yes. How interesting.
Yeah. But I don't know. I liked how it turned. I liked the Veep turn at the end, but I thought they could have made fun of her maybe just on SNL more.
Yeah, I really liked that, and I thought they were going to go deeper into it, and was kind of bummed when they stopped it. I mean, I love, and I forget his name now, her co-star.
Tony Hale.
He's so great.
Yeah.
So I that was great. But yeah, I could have definitely seen that game more of her kind of poking fun at herself.
Yeah.
I loved her walking in and just saying, like, I don't know, here's your coffee or whatever it was, as her example of her amazing characters on SNL. Because, yeah, if you only have 1 year on the show, like, you're not doing too much.
I think Sarah Silverman did something similar to that, too, when she hosted, and, like, threw back to how she was, like, just was in the audience in a monologue scene. And she's like, yeah, my great scene here, blah, blah, blah. So I think it was maybe too simple. That's why they switched to like, oh, and check out this movie that I was in.
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't know. I felt like they could have picked and choose. Like, it would have been great if it was like a Veep monologue. Because I don't watch Veep, but I still enjoyed.
I think you'd really like it.
Yeah, I need to get into it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
It's on my list. But,
Do it.
yeah, it was an okay model. Everything was okay, I feel like.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate because you can't really talk much about.
Okay.
Not a huge opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what I would have changed other than maybe seeing more of those moments. Did she really do a movie where the guy did blackface?
Soul Man, that's what she showed.
So that's real.
Yeah, that's a real movie. I didn't know she was in it, but yeah.
Woof.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving onward and upward.
Yeah. Heroin AM commercial. First commercial. I think there was another one. 2 commercials? One more commercial?
I think at the end it had a heroin PM button.
Yeah. No, they had the Mercedes. We'll get into this.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, later on in the episode there was another commercial. Yeah.
It was okay. I felt like this was just kind of an easy joke. There wasn't much to it. I think the funniest part was when she had a monster laugh, and she saw the monster. I feel like if they played on that more, it would have been fun. Made bigger moves like that.
Right.
What did you think?
Yeah, I felt like the idea was funny in theory, and yet, like, same thing, like, kind of low-hanging fruit of, like, a sketch about drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked that leading into it, her line was, I want to do heroin, but I also want to get stuff done. So, like, I liked that and was excited to see where they were going to go with it, but it really just was, like, pills that are heroin.
It was
for moms and dads. I don't know. Like, it didn't. I feel like the idea didn't fully get there for me. There were funny moments for sure, but I feel like as an entire sketch, I'm not sure that it like totally hit.
Yeah, I feel like a lot with this episode, they made great ideas and choice. Like, oh, that's a great idea, but the choices and the they didn't make any bold moves or anything, or like escalated the jokes that much. Kind of like with the huge jewelry too. It was just like, okay, that Kate's accent really good, but I really wanted Nick Jonas to talk more.
Yeah,
just
don't we always
more?
want him to just talk a little bit more? That one, same thing. I liked the idea. I feel like when it was played out, though, I was like, oh, I mean, I kind of get it. Yeah, the jewelry is just gonna get bigger.
It's like, and I felt like it was kind of too similar to. Remember when Scarlett Johansson hosts? She has that chandelier sketch.
Yeah.
And she has a Long Island accent. It's like kind of. I know it's chandeliers and jewelry are different, but that's funnier.
Right.
And also, it's hard with Long Island. Like you had the Bronx Beat, with Amy and Maya.
Hard to beat that. Yeah,
you can't. If you want to do specific like New York things like that, you got to pick a stronger. I feel like. Sketch. This was just
well, the point of view was basically people from Long Island wear very large jewelry.
Yeah.
But then I feel like there was something last week too that I was like, well, if it had more of a point of view, like the Henry VIII thing, it just was like, I want your child, and it was like one note, and then you're like, but why is this happening? Like, why am I watching this? I felt a little like this as well, and maybe it's kind of what you're saying, like if they had gone a little bit more wackadoo and further, that you'd actually be laughing during it, other than being like amused by the fact that people from Long Island do wear. Like, this probably would have worked better as a stand-up set, to be honest, like someone talking about it and like acting it out.
Yeah.
But
or have like a straight man in it and be like, you guys, like have somebody watching the commercial or something and be like, this is sometimes it's good to point out the crazy.
Yeah.
Instead of two peas in a pod just kind of being a little crazy.
Right.
It was,
I kind of wanted someone to just become an earring.
Yeah.
Like, just come out and they're no longer a person. They're just an earring or something. I don't know. Yeah. I'm like, where can you take it? It's just the jewelry is going to get bigger.
Right.
We knew it was going to happen.
Agreed. Speaking of Nick Jonas, though, the pool boy video, that was pretty good. He was the lawnmower guy. I like this one again. I like the idea of it, but I guess you can't really go much go much places with it.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorites of the night, actually.
Yeah.
And I really liked Pete's character in this. I felt like it was perfect for him. His, okay, oh, okay, my bad. Like, just repeating the same lines over and over again. And him, yeah, he's just aloof. And I like the idea of taking this scene, which we've seen in things like Desperate Housewives and, like, whatever movie you can think of where there's a mom hitting on a high schooler, and like making fun of that movie moment where she's like, I can't, but I want to, but I can't, and the guy just being like, that's cool, like,
basing it more in reality, kind of.
I really liked that aspect of it. And then I was kind of wondering where they were going to take it, and I thought that she was just going to end up sleeping with the pool boy again, and I was going to be like, oh, wop, wop.
Yeah.
But I really like that they brought in Nick Jonas, and I really like it when they bring in the musical guest in a couple sketches. I know they did that with Selena Gomez and
Ariana before she hosted.
Yeah. I think it's really nice if you can. Like, you may as well. They're there, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like he was perfect to be like a hot lawnmower. And I love the button on the out of, I'm gonna F that kid.
Yeah.
You know?
I think this was one of the better ones, too, because it had an ending. I felt like a lot of them, well, usually typical SNL has trouble ending. And I did like how it did have the twist with the lawnmower guy. And just any Nick Jonas.
I mean,
showing off those arms.
I would love for him to be my lawnmower. You know, just show up.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit with iced tea. I don't even drink iced tea, but I feel like if Nick Jonas is gonna, I don't even have a lawn for him to mow.
Yeah,
he'd just be like mowing the carpet in my apartment.
Vacuumer?
That's better, because that's less destructive. My landlord would be pretty upset, I think.
Yeah.
If I was like, Nick Jonas, just come over and like mow my carpet. Yeah. That sounds like an invitation for sexual events, though.
I mean,
which is what
okay.
I mean.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. So, hey, Nick Jonas,
Woohoo.
Sexual events. Something weird always happens on this show.
So good, yeah. Cinema Classics with Marla Bartlett.
Yes, and Reese DeWhat?
Dubois? Oh, Dubois, yeah.
Dubois?
I'm just over Kenan, you know?
I know you are.
So much.
Yeah. I was thinking about this I've been really marinating on last week's episode, and I know that recently iOS, which is a comedy theater in LA, they did their SNL character showcase, but they only invited males to do it, and they only pulled from house teams.
Read that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was like, I had a little moment of like, wait, what? How did the showcase already happen? How did I not know about this?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they only pulled males from iOS house teams, and I guess SNL only, like, they've got enough strong women. They don't want to audition more women.
Stupid.
They need strong men, which I guess in reflection kind of makes sense. I feel like this year and even last year, I feel like the sketches and the characters I've loved the most have been mostly coming from the women.
I love Jay Pharoah.
Jay Pharoah is an amazing impressionist, and I feel like he's great at characters. I actually don't think they use him as well as they should.
I agree.
I feel like they use Kenan as this sort of comedy crutch, which is so interesting to me. And maybe there are states that like are obsessed with him, but I feel like his comedy doesn't quite do it for me. Like, he's probably awesome and loved elsewhere. I appreciate some moments from him, but I just think they're overusing him and not using some other guys on the cast as much as they could be. And like, I wonder if that's why they're only trying to cast guys to try and I don't know. I found that interesting.
It's weird too, because I feel like a lot of them, even the guys like Jay Pharoah and John Radinsky, they're stand-up comedians too.
Right.
So I think it's funny that they're trying to do more sketch people, because the guys that are now kind of owning it, well, I think the two guys, I guess Taron is good too, but he was like an actor and he has experience from Mad TV.
And he was a groundling.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't be biased, SNL. You know, pick all ladies and it's just annoying. They're still strictly kind of old school. And that's
They are, yeah.
I feel like that's also why they'll probably never get rid of Sashir, because of all the drama.
Right. And they don't even use her enough. And
it's just like, yeah, we have her, so, you can't bother us about it.
Which I feel like she's a great actress. And anytime they put her in a scene, she's an amazing actress. They just don't use her enough.
Yeah.
I feel like they've got all these strong players that they're just keeping on the bench. Yeah. And then you've got Kenan, who's in every sketch.
Cecily, too, is similar. It's like, we get it. I mean, she's good. At least there's funny moments with her, but you can get burnt out with her, too.
Right. Yeah, I'm just, again, would love to be a fly on the wall to know how things are chosen and how it works. And the running order, too. I feel like if I were trying to put together a running order, I would want to make sure that we're seeing different faces, because as an audience member, you get bored if you're not seeing more variety and stuff. So, I don't know.
But, back to...
Right, sorry. Cinema classics.
It's okay. I applaud Julia's commitment to the scene, but it was just the same joke. Oh man, what's the lines and everything.
Right.
So she was really great in it, doing, committing, but it was kind of just too boring for, I don't know. What did you think?
I felt like the middle beat of her losing her eyesight was like a good step forward into a new direction, but then I felt like the third beat wasn't really different from the first one. Like, she still was finding objects. Yes, she got shot in the abdomen, and her scene partners were finally irritated, but, it didn't heighten the game of her reading the objects. Like, if they were going in the direction of now she's lost her eyesight, I feel like you have to do something to hinder her even more, to where, is she blind and now she's trying to find the objects? Yeah. I feel like that would have been a way to go with their idea, where it seemed like it was headed. I don't know. I liked the theory of it, and yes, watching her do it was tickling. But yeah, it felt a little like it didn't quite go the distance of it.
Yeah, I agree. Just like the Mercedes AA class, such a clever idea, but maybe if it was a minute shorter, maybe that would have been fine, just a little blip. Because I like the idea of making fun of the car commercial and how it's produced like a car commercial.
They really did that well.
Yeah.
They really made it look... Well, when it first started, I was even going to text you, did you see the car commercial she was in during it? But then it actually ended up being a sketch. I genuinely thought it was an advertisement on Hulu.
Yeah, I was confused at first. I was like, I'm not supposed to have commercials. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I thought as far as aesthetics and the way it was shot, that it was a perfect parody. But yeah, again, I'm not sure why things didn't quite hit for me this episode. There were a lot of clever lines. I loved them cheekily ending on batteries not included, because it's just so kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I liked the warning about when things, in 3 miles, this one. Maybe more of that, reality of, this is a terrible idea.
Right. And how expensive would that be?
Yeah.
I would like to know a full-on quote of, I know they said it only runs on, 9,000 AA batteries, but, what's that?
9,648. I wrote that down.
Yeah, what a beautiful specific number. I would love to know how much that would cost a person, because, that number would look ridiculous.
Yeah.
We think gas is expensive?
Yeah, this is way more.
Way more expensive, for sure.
But what can you do? Except listen to Nick Jonas.
Yes, what did you think?
I was really hoping it would be one of his older songs that I knew and loved already, because Levels, Jealous, Chains.
Get in my elevator, baby, we're going up.
So good.
Yeah.
He was okay. I think it's just because they're new songs and I don't know them yet.
That makes sense.
But he was really fun, really great to look at.
I know.
I didn't like the girl with she just had a bra and a see-through shirt. I'm like, try a little bit harder. But
I thought the second performance was a bit stronger.
I agree.
I think the microphones, the sound system didn't sound great on the first song. I don't know if it's just the way they had set up the amps, or if I don't know, it just sounded slightly off to me sound wise, but I like the song. I've heard it a couple times on the radio and I'm warming up to it. I do the same thing. I'll hear a song once and be like, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
And then you hear it a few more
Over
times,
time,
and then you're like, this is my jam now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I think he's awesome, and I would like to see him in concert and sleep on his abs.
Yep. It's great. Update. Lots of characters, lots of guests.
Yeah.
But do you have any particular jokes that you liked?
I mean, while I am getting tired of hearing about the election just like all together, I did flag down some Bernie jokes that I liked.
They were good this one.
They were good, and
yeah.
I feel like I heard them. I was like, oh my God, that's so true. I loved that his hair is styled by the wind.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah. And that he's just the literal opposite of Donald Trump, that he brags about being poor, and that he's going to make America... I forget what that exact wording of that joke was, but essentially, like, he's going to make America build a wall, which it's not funny when I say it, but somehow when they said it...
And he's going to have a tunnel to Mexico or something.
Yeah. So I liked those bits, and then I liked the two-dimensional character. They had a lot of, like, really degrading, like, jokes.
I liked all the guests in this one.
That's rare.
Because I thought, I don't know.
Good.
Let's just go one, we'll save her for last, the one-dimensional.
Perfect.
Because save the best for last.
Yeah.
But Barkley and Shaq, I always just love, I love Jay Farrell, so.
His Shaq is so good, though. I closed my eyes and was listening to The Voice, and I was like, it's so good.
Yeah.
His eyes.
It's so stupid, though, too. Like, I've got a joke. A horse walks into a bar. That's it.
He's like, horses don't belong in bars.
So funny.
So silly.
But, he could just be Shaq all the time. We don't need Kenan as Charles Barkley. I get it because he's, like, the straight man, but not, because he still messes.
It felt unnecessary, and I was a little like, I'm not paying attention to you. I just want to hear Shaq be kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like, that's what Jost and Che are there for, to be, like, the straight, like, call them out on their stuff.
Yeah.
I loved Animal Annie. I put a star next to her. I think she's like my favorite. What a great idea. Just like my ex-boyfriend was a starfish. Maybe starfish are liars too. Easter ham? What was that? I forget. But Che, you'll like this one. Iguanas have two penises.
Yes. He's like, how do you know I would like that? I mean, I did, but how do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really enjoyable. And I feel like she was having fun doing it, and I loved that they brought out an actual iguana. I also put ? Bearded dragon.
No,
I didn't
iguana.
know which one it was.
Yeah.
It was an iguana.
With a little hat. It was really just... it was very... I know it was like kind of the same joke over and over. I guess it got kind of meaner and meaner.
Yeah.
Which was smart. And it's just a simple, great guest to have on Update.
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't come back next week. Just...
Right.
She's great.
Let it live for a moment. Yeah.
Treat it like a treat. And then the one-dimensional female from a male-driven comedy. You loved her a lot. I thought she was great too.
Yeah, well, I liked, because I know they usually do the gag of like she takes off her glasses, but I liked in this one that they kind of played it more of the like super misogynistic moments in like American Pie and stuff, like kind of highly sexualized.
Just more honest, too, kind of.
Very honest. It felt like they weren't trying to be nice or polite. Yeah, they just went for it. Like her sneezing into tissues that had, like, I was about to say sperm, that had semen in it, like, and their reaction of, like, oh my God, that's terrible. And I feel like that's the point of her, is to be like, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. It's true, like, how she could only date 40 and up, the fatter the better. That's like so many movies. Oh, she can't say any more lines, so she just turned off.
Perfect.
So, like, sometimes it's good to just point out what's messed up in this, like, in Hollywood and society.
Yeah.
And that makes truth in comedy, you know?
Totally. And I feel like it's something you don't have to reach at if you're just being honest. And maybe that's what's been going on in the last couple episodes, is they're reaching for things like, well, now we have to spend a whole episode where we're eating phallic objects. It's like, or pick a topic that you genuinely get upset by and do a sketch about it.
Have feelings about.
Yeah, like come from a personal place.
Yeah.
and I feel like maybe that's what is missing from some of these, is that there's a lot less personal
and just more stupid. Like, let's have a dick joke. Let's just sketch about dicks.
Right. Instead of, like, what's a unique point of view you have.
Yeah.
Like, I never realized that I'm someone who does finger guns a lot. And, like, ended up doing a set about that. But, like, it was, I don't know. That's something weird and unique to me.
You're right. I do think that they're forgetting their point of view in a lot of the things. And they're just like, let's, or even if they do have a topic, they're like, let's just talk about it and not really go into it.
Like, don't be afraid of your point of view. It's probably not wrong. A lot of people probably agree.
Yeah.
I would much rather see someone's opinion about how they think that melon are actually vegetables than seeing another sketch about dicks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
I
so
agree.
done. How many dick sketches can we see?
I love dick jokes, but unless it's, you gotta
it's
have
gotta really be done right.
Yeah.
Like, there's gotta be something really unique to it. Or a point of view.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just dicks.
I'm not a 7-year-old boy. I'm not like, look at this bread. It looks like my wiener. You know.
No,
it's not.
I agree. I too am not doing that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
I know. The next sketch, Who Works Here? Another game show parody. I did like this one. Like, I feel like a lot of their game show parodies recently have been just kind of stupid and not much to it, or like that match game where it was just kind of uncomfortable.
Right.
This one, I thought it was smart because you kind of sometimes feel that way at CBS.
CBS is a whole buttload of weird most of the time. Like, it's a mix of people like yourself who are going there for necessary items, and then, definitely like a mix of homeless individuals or people on drugs or like people in suits. Like, it's just a weird, it's the weirdest place.
Yeah.
Everyone goes there. Like, gas stations. Do you ever just, like, see the
7-Elevens
weirdest...
too.
Yeah, like, I see the weirdest people at gas stations, but I'm like, everyone has to gas up. So why am I only encountering people who, like, approach me? I'm like, I don't ever go try and talk to someone while they're gassing up. But, like, the amount of times I've had men come approach me at a gas station, I'm like, how is this appropriate? It doesn't feel appropriate. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm all about, like, talking to people and being social, but, like, there's a time and a place, and
not at a gas station.
maybe, at, like, 9 p.m. at night, like, maybe don't approach the girl who is alone at a gas station.
It's too creepy,
But, like, there's normal people who gas up on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about CBS, too. There's, like, a ton of normal people who have to go get toilet paper.
But also, it's like a lot of them are 24 hours, so I think that's why creepy people are just like, I'm gonna hang out here.
That's true. It's a place to go. That and Denny's.
Yeah.
That's it.
Denny's takes forever. I'm team IHOP. It's so annoying every time I go there. But I liked it, except, like, I feel like the ghost thing could have been a little bit more spooky. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
They just, like, had Kate
by the
smile
way,
at
she's
camera.
yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't like Julia's deliveries that much either. It felt kind of, like, weirdly forced.
Well, I was, like, not sure why she was being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I got the game of these are the people you see at CVS, and I related and was like, oh, I love it. I totally get it. But then I wasn't sure why she was just being...
Yeah. It was another good idea for a sketch, but just weirdly played.
Right.
Just like I think the Match.com meat match, such a great idea. Aliens.
Right.
Coming in.
Yeah.
And the voices, but then, like...
It just was weird.
What happened?
I don't know.
Nobody cared about the skeleton. He's like, hey, somebody check out these skeletons. Like, what? Who would do that? Like, sometimes I get it, it's a sketch show, but you have to be a little bit, like, based in reality.
Care more. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're so right. I feel like it's this weird kind of, like, oh, clown town. But, like, I do actually want to see the person who's, like terrified that they just found...
Yeah.
their friends' skeletons in the thing, because that's what would actually happen.
Yeah.
I feel like you already had something that wouldn't happen, 2 aliens, so then don't add any more
like how
crazy
people are cool with
extra
it.
stuff. No, just like, that's not, I agree.
Or call them out. I think it'd be funnier if people are like, these people are aliens, and they're like, well, we're not aliens, but we need to breed, you know?
Right.
What's gonna happen? They're gonna have sex with Jay and John again, and they're gonna make them skeletons? It just, like... There was no... It was one
and
joke.
Maybe even the skeleton beat wasn't that strong, that they, like, burned them alive. I don't know.
Maybe show, I guess not, it's not but like if it was a weird way that they thought what sex was and it was like fire coming out of their mouths or whatever.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed the different ways that they were told sex is had if they like touch your forehead with their hand and they're like, now we're pregnant or something. That's so dumb that I would have just listened to that out loud that I said it. But
no, it's fine. I would have loved to see them get pregnant though too. Like,
actually, yeah.
Do like accomplish something instead of be like, we're gonna try and do this. No, it's not gonna work. Bye.
Right.
You know, it's just felt like a lot of things are like, we're gonna try this. That's it. I don't know.
Yeah. And what's the baby look like when it comes out? I don't know. Yeah. I love that we both keep going, I don't know. Maybe we do know, Kelly. Maybe we do.
Yeah.
Our opinions are valid. People don't have to agree, but they are valid because they come from our brains, and women can think.
Yep.
That took a weird turn.
Feminism.
I'm not sure why I went straight to feminism, but...
Speaking of feminism, Vanessa Bayer.
Yes.
God is a boob man. This was what I was saying before, have an opinion about something. Like, this is a topic. And what, like, I don't understand, what was her reasoning to be like, I'm not okay with gay, like, I think it would have been funnier if it was, like, Trump or something, like, somebody that we know that's a crazy person.
Right.
I don't know, it was well-produced, too.
Well...
But it was more kind of, not offensive, but just like, this isn't right, than funny. I don't know.
It was taking two or three different things at once, which I feel like was the problem. It's taking the movie God's Not Dead, which was like a poorly made Christian film about... Have you seen the trailers or heard about it at all?
Is that the one with Jennifer Garner?
So that's God's Not Dead too. Okay, so the first God's Not Dead is a kid who's like going to college for the first time, and he gets into a philosophy class, and they start talking about Friedrich Nietzsche, whose biggest...
Nietzsche?
Yeah, thank you. Whose biggest philosophy was that God is dead. And so this Christian kid is like, no, he's not. And it's like the whole theme of the film. Great, whatever. But it was very badly made, and the trailers and stuff are kind of hilarious because it's just so dramatic and like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe make fun of a movie that more people know about.
I think it is also kind of obscure.
Yeah, especially if there's already a sequel out, it's pretty dated then too, right?
I don't know if it's gone into theater. Like, I know I've seen the trailers recently, but I'm not sure if it's released yet. But I also know that there was a story in Oregon where a bakery owner wouldn't make cakes for a lesbian couple's wedding. And I actually have met the lawyer who's like defending that lady.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. And I feel like they also mentioned Kim Davis at one point, and I just was like, there's so much going on. Like, pick what your thing is. I mean, I feel like they took the shopkeeping story and blended it with God is Dead, but then it just... You're right. It's like if they had a point of view, they could have just... not been shy about it and like gone for it. Like, I know she was saying like, I'm not gonna admit that God is gay, but like that felt like the weird way to go with it, because then it's on this fine line of like, anyone who is watching SNL who is religious may be mildly offended or not. I don't know. Like,
it just
was weird.
It was not funny. It was like, where's this going? What's the point? What's funny about making fun of these movies and shows about... Right. I get it, like, people get crazy religious and make crazy stuff, but, like, this is just, I don't know, it just didn't do anything.
Also, like, why would the gay couple who's trying to get married be like, just admit that God's gay? Like, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then it went to this other place where it's like they were trying to make a point, but it was kind of confusing and a little like I couldn't get on board, because I'm like, well, what are you saying? And now what are you saying about gay people? And what do you like? I don't know. It just was confusing to me, and I was a little like, your point of view wasn't clear, and now I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, I'm like, I don't know, because I'm not sure how to...
I don't know if they know, honestly. I don't know if they knew what they were doing. They're just like, let's just make a trailer parody.
It just... Yes, I think that's exactly kind of what it was, but it just it missed the mark. And I wish I knew how to, like, tell you to fix it, but
We can't
don't fully. I just know it didn't
do anything.
The point of views just aren't really clear.
Yeah, it was a weird episode.
Yeah.
When will it get better, you know?
I don't know.
Overall, though, do you have, like, an MVP person?
Julia.
Yeah.
I think she was great, and I love watching her.
She tried, you know?
Yeah, she definitely was having fun and was totally committed to everything. I think just the sketches fell a little flat. They weren't the worst, but they weren't the best.
Yeah. It's not memorable either, you know?
Right.
You're not going to remember this episode,
No.
which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
because she's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's until next time, you know?
No, I hate ending it on these somber notes. I want to be like, this was the greatest episode I've seen in a long time.
One day.
One day. There's been a couple ones before this that were really great that I was so excited about. I love the Ariana Grande one. I liked when Melissa McCarthy guest starred. So
I don't know.
it's just really hit and miss recently. Less consistent as it is, like super highs and super lows.
Yeah, I agree. Well, SNL is taking a break until May 7th.
Maybe that's...
So then maybe they'll come back
thing?
like boom.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are.
Yeah. After Cinco de Mayo, you know, they'll be like, woo, let's party. You know, let's have a good episode.
That's exactly what they'll do.
But until then, Katie, where can they find you on the internet?
Oh, you can find me on the internet at Katie Wilbert, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't have Snapchat because like I don't really
You should get it,
or know how to use it, and I just appear in the background of other people's, just like doing weird stuff by accident. So.
And hey, one day you'll get it. I was like against it at first, and now I love it. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Holly Weirdo. I'm Kelly McInerney. Also, you can find me on Snapchat at Kelly McInerney, but with 3 L's. KELLLYMCINERNEY. Till May 7th, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.